Good morning, guys.
So live on our platforms. Go ahead. For you guys that are getting on our platforms, giving you guys value. For the week, for the month. And we are on accurate thinking. When we look at accurate thinking, there are two things to be dealt with: the essential and the incidental. What does that mean to you guys? What's the difference between the essential and the incidental?
The essential is where you want to go. You decide. The incidental is who you are prior, and it's going to take you to what you already know.
Good. So the all incidentals are things that have already happened, things that are controlling your behavior, things that are around you, the people in your environment. Incidental are all results from prior thinking. All results from prior thinking are the product of incidental causes. When you look at your level of awareness, what you produce today, let's look at the level of awareness of what you've created, you've manifested. Those are all incidental. They're the result of the old paradigm, the old behaviors, the old habits, uh, all of the old way of thinking, drifting. How many times have you drifted through life, or you've been drifting and not making decisions because of fear, doubt, and worry? So this incidentals, or we can say these results, are a product of prior way of thinking. If we're not making the decisions to change ourselves, if we're not making decisions to evolve ourselves, if we're not taking the next steps on what we need to do next, if we're not deciding how much we're going to earn and what we're going to do to earn it, if we're not deciding to make the changes, then everything that we want remains veiled. We will not see what it is that we need to do, nor will we take responsibility on what it is that needs to be done. So everything that you want remains veiled. Everything that you want to create, you stay stuck. So you keep getting more of the same results.
So, so if I'm correct, essential is what we need, right? And incidental is the. I always have a hard time with those two words. I don't know why. And incidental is the results of not acting on what we need.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
So not
Okay.
really doing what it is that you need to do, not
Right.
making the committed decision to change yourself, not making a committed decision to work on yourself. I remember people being in wanting to learn more about themselves, but never really deciding to invest in themselves. They'd be in the same place. Always the incidental was controlling the behavior, all prior results. Why would somebody not invest in themselves? Why would somebody
I
not choose a mentor? Why would somebody not?
right.
Why?
One, because they're not aware, and two, I would say there's a lot of distractions. It's distractions, people that come around you that, but we don't know what we don't know. I mean, now I'm aware of it because of these classes, right? But all my life, I had no idea. You think people are coming to you that you have to act upon it. Now I'm like putting a stop. Whoa, hold on. You know, Is this essential?
Good. Is this essential for me? Are they
Right.
going to take me where I want to go? Is the reason that I'm listening to this, is this going to advance me, or is this going to hold me back? Am I going to let the incidental, am I going to let other people's incidentals control my behavior? What's my plan for today? Do I have a plan of action? Or am I letting outside results control my behavior? Am I letting the bank account control me from taking action? Am I letting the news control my behavior, stop me from moving towards my goal? So this is in two things. There's two factors always: the essential and the incidental. The essential is your ability to create anything you want. And when you really get this down pat, you decide. You've always been deciding. The essential was you, which is the cause and the source of all creation. Incidentals are just a fabrication of making decisions and not making decisions, or putting decisions off. Not ready to make the decision that you need to make to align yourself with what it is that you desire. Why do we a lot of times find not focusing on the essential part of our personality, the essential part of our business? Why do we find ourselves not staying committed to the essential part of this source of power? What are your thoughts?
One of them is awareness.
Being aware, okay? Being aware of, let's say, not even getting into the spirit of the thing that you need to do. If you're finding yourself forcing yourself to go take action when you know you should be taking action, what's going on inside?
Or you're struggling. You're not flowing properly. It's data.
Good. So data, there may be some people on the call, they may not know what data is. What is data?
Information coming through us.
Good. Information coming through you. There's not a lot of people that know that they are hooked up to a transmission or a field of consciousness, one that doesn't belong to them. That chattering mind does not belong to you. All the inner talk does not belong to you. If it was you, you wouldn't talk to yourself in that manner. If it was the higher part of you, the true you, there'd be a principle of guidance, straight principle of guidance. You wouldn't self-sabotage yourself. You wouldn't give yourself fear, doubt, and worry. Though all of that is data, information you've got into, and we take it as truth. Listen to the news, listen to the neighbor, listen to the people that are not getting the results that I want. Let the environment control what I do next. So the essential would be higher source, higher awareness. Why not find the people that can show you how to go where you want? Why not think about how it can be done? Why not focus on everything that you need to do to become who you want to be? Why not stay in a positive mental attitude? Why not decide that you're no longer going to listen to the news, you listen to the radio? Why not turn all that off? Why not decide that you're going to start your own business, or you're going to take the business you're in and you're going to move from being in a job to creating another section or developing another section in the business you're in, or take those results beyond what they've ever done before, work yourself into a partnership? Why not decide? I remember creating my own.
All right.
I developed myself in the company that I was in, the last one. I gave myself a position that didn't exist yet, never existed. And the truth is, after I left, that position never existed again. I was doing things beyond what I was supposed to do. And because I was always looking how I can improve or I can do things better, I gave myself a position and I moved myself into different areas because I was doing more than what I was being asked to do. And in doing more than what I was asked to do, I took on behavior I wasn't supposed to have, and I gave myself authority by doing more than what the company was asking me to do. And they gave me leeway. They gave me the opportunity to do more. And in doing this, a lot of things that were being veiled to me before, that means I couldn't see them, I started to see things I couldn't see before. And I continued on to the point where I was seeing beyond the company, I was seeing beyond myself, prior self, and developing my confidence that anything was possible. So there was a principle of guidance in all this. And it was tuning into my higher self and knowing that anything was possible, choosing that anything was possible, and then taking action. That principle of guidance has allowed me to continue to develop myself and go beyond my prior title, my prior position, to developing my own company, to building several companies, and continue developing other people. I get called now. I help people advance in their own businesses, take their business, change where they're at in their business, or sit for ideas. They'll ask me for ideas. And I do this because I've got an ability that I've developed to see beyond conditions and circumstances. I've got an ability to see what's next, to do what's next. I've got an ability to tap into this field of consciousness, become more aware of what can be done and what needs to be done. So relatively, people seek guidance from me, principle of guidance. They'll seek me out to help accomplish the goals that they want. And I never saw the difference really at first until I started to really see that the benefits of having this hidden ability is to see beyond conditions and circumstances, to control the flow, help them control the whole flow, help other people understand what they don't see. And these were all the things that I was learning while building my own company and then helping others build their own company. But what I saw in me and then what I saw in them, and when I was working with other people and I was investing my money on other people, it was my money. When I was investing my money or our money, the company's money, in individuals that said that they wanted to have the results, it was never their money. So whenever I would see things, a lot of times they weren't willing to listen and take the actions they need to listen and adopt the changes that they needed to change. I could see the essential. I could see what they needed to do. But since it wasn't their money, it wasn't really their time. And they were in their mind, they had a job. They never saw out to the business the way they needed to. So the more I realized as I was helping other people and then I was spending my money on helping other people, the essential demand for an entrepreneur that causes you to become aware and take action was not theirs. So I started to see the difference in people that were investing in themselves. They used their own money to build the company versus somebody that was spending the money on them. That was the difference on somebody taking the actions, becoming who they needed to become, focusing on what they needed to focus on, and really taking responsibility on the essential and the incidental. Are you following me? A lot of you may say, well, if somebody gave me the opportunity, I would take it and do it. If that was the case, why haven't you done it today? I want you to think about a hidden belief that's in you. Opportunities have been around the whole time. We don't take them. It's because there's a hidden belief behind that's causing you to act and behave as you do. And I go back and I look to see what was it that it was in me that was able to maneuver even through when I was working and I had a job. There was many times where I had a job, but I turned that job into an opportunity. I turned ideas, I turned thoughts into motion. What was it that was in me then that was indifferent, that was looking towards improving the company, and others didn't want to? And I'm looking at, well, why was I able to do it? Why was I able to take an opportunity, create my own opportunities, see the opportunities, create my own opportunities, and even advance the company I was working on, worth at the time? Because I was always thinking about the group. I was always thinking about how can I help the company build. I didn't have a bias. I wanted the company to progress because I saw it as the company was taking care of me. I started to think, what were the things that were essential inside of me that were different in other people? And I started to look that my thought and actions were always in harmony with progress, everybody's progress. Whether I was working in a job or I was starting my own company, or even whenever I was trying to help others develop a business. And I started to notice the qualities that we must have to to be progressive in a job, to build our own section of a business, or develop a business, or more money in a business. I remember finding people that would not go over the amount of money that they were set, and they would never look to do things more than what they were doing. They wouldn't look to think of ways so that the company would earn more money. Why? And I go and look at their habits and behaviors, and I can still find people in the same positions, more or less same places. They were not willing to give more than what they were being asked to do. A lot of them would say, I won't do more than I'll paid more. That was the essential part of a personality. That is the essential part of your being. And then I started to find that there was this accurate thought that was always leading me to go beyond conditions and circumstances. This accurate thought was having the habit of going beyond what I know, willing to give, willing to change the way the business was, willing to change myself over and over and over again. And that's what was causing me to develop within. There's a hidden message in ourselves when we're willing to look. There's a hidden, you could say, hidden beliefs, some positive, some negative. So I want everybody to take the time to look at what's holding you back, what's holding you from improving the business you're in. That belief in there that's holding you from not allowing yourself to develop the business you're in, that is a belief. Not only is it holding you back from developing the company you're in, it's holding you back from developing yourself within the company. I remember listening to other businessmen. They wouldn't invest on someone until that person showed that they were invested in themselves. And I'm starting to look at these hidden characteristics, this accurate way of thinking. They wouldn't invest in somebody because if the person was invested in themselves, they would invest in themselves by learning more, doing more, reading, studying. So then this accurate thought of people that are willing to invest in themselves, willing to look for mentorship, willing to look for knowledge, willing to study, willing to take that back and go where they're at, those are the people that they would invest in. But they wouldn't invest in them until they invested in themselves. That accurate thinking was showing the people that they were ready for change. They're ready to do the work. So then I go back to the people that didn't change, the people that are still where they're at. They were never willing to change the way they think, act, and behave. And when it did come time, when there was an opportunity, they wanted it to be handed. They didn't want to earn it. And this is where this alignment and principle of guidance and accurate thought comes in. Nobody told them that they couldn't earn more. There was a belief inside them that didn't believe they could earn more. Now, I watched people try to take more money than what they were giving. Eventually, they got moved back to the position. They lost their job. And they're still at where they're at. That's not accurate thinking. So it's about giving more than what you receive. Always give more. If you're always giving more than what you receive, you're always going to learn more about yourself, and you're going to get in alignment with the desire that you want. That's harmony. When you're wanting to have more than what you're giving, you're not in alignment with that goal. Because by doing more than what you're receiving, you are becoming who you have to become to receive what you want. If you're doing it wrong, you're going against the law itself. I remember people, they never advanced. Still earning 80,000, still earning 70,000, still earning 60,000, still earning 40,000, still earning 30,000. Not because they can do more. They don't know that there's a hidden belief inside them that does not want to do more. I remember taking the sales company, doubling the company, tripling the company. I remember taking sales, quadrupling the company, 10 times in the company. I did that on my own. Nobody ever told me to stop. And in building my own company, nobody told me to stop. And I would look at people and get people to earn more money. Nobody told them to stop. But they'd always stop. They would stop selling. They would stop wanting to give more. And then they're upset and they're wondering why they're not earning more. There was a hidden message inside their behavior. They were not willing to see it. If you really start to think, has anybody ever told you to stop selling? You're working in a job, did anybody ever tell you to stop selling? You're going to find that there's a hidden message in that. And it goes back to accurate thinking. The essential and the incidental. What has been governing our abilities? What has been governing our attitude? What has been stopping us from giving more than what we receive? Going beyond what we know. I learned the more I done, the more I received. I learned when you do more, you earn more. I learned that as you advance and you become the person that you need to be, you get in harmony with what you want. And I have let that principle of guidance lead me the way. Thoughts, takeaways so far? I had to learn this. I learned it. Everything that I teach, I learned firsthand.
And I've everything you said, I'm going through right now myself. Gone through it where I've given, being the entrepreneur, investing in myself, going and doing things that I don't normally do to get me out of my comfort zone. And it's investing in myself. Going and putting on a suit is investing in myself. And the beliefs are sometimes we don't have enough money. But if you keep with that idea, you're going to keep attracting that idea. So I said, I have more than enough and I earn. So my earnings can pay for my, for what I want to experience. and it's led me on a different journey. I'm doing things that I've never done. Um, Obstacles still get in the way, but I don't let them deter me. I'm determined, and it may take me a little bit longer to get the results that I want, but I'm not quitting. I'm keep going, because the average person will give up after one or two. They have a belief that say, "Oh, that's a sign for me not to do it, so I'm not gonna do it." So, but as you start getting the essential, that was
He-
um that was it's it's accurate thinking. Now we've got a question: is it a truth or is it a belief? If it's a belief, then I gotta keep going. If it's true, okay, maybe there's another way that I gotta go. But what you said earlier, of everything that you gotta go through, you gotta earn it. You saw that it was your money, and you gotta really have that entrepreneur attitude. If you want to become a businessman, if you want to become an owner, there's things that you gotta do. You gotta invest with your time with people, learn from those people, even if you're not even getting paid for it. But that's an investment. Your time, you're still trading your time. It's still like a currency. Everybody has 24 hours. What are you doing with your time?
Yeah. And who you're becoming in the way is in taking those actions and learning to do more is who you had to get in is it was who you had to be to receive what you want. And that's what a lot of people miss. Everything that you had to do, you're actually getting in alignment with your goal. You're actually becoming in aligned with the money. You're becoming in line with with the results that you want. And so many people miss that. Like I said, I mean, I've seen so many people could have sold more. Nobody ever told them to stop selling. They could have doubled the company, they could have tripled the company, but they never did. Why? What belief was holding them back? Not knowing that if they would have doubled the company, tripled the company, eventually they would work themselves into a partnership. They'd work themselves into a different position. They'd work themselves in. Then not only that, everything that they had to learn to go to become that person, they would develop skills and behaviors and habits that would show them or pave the way to either getting something better in that company or building their own because they're learning to become somebody that they were never going to become. And a lot of people miss that. There's a hidden message on focusing on essentially moving forward or letting the incidentals, beliefs, I'm not going to get paid more. I'm not going to earn more. I'm going to do more than what I'm getting paid for. Why would I want to go doing more than what I have or what I'm getting paid for? Why would I go pick up things that I don't need to? There's an incidental voice inside of you, and there's an essential voice inside of you. I started this off by let's look at the thoughts that are happening within. And there's a transmission inside you saying, go do more, become more. And there's another thought inside you, chatter, chatter, chatter. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? They're not going to pay you more. Why are they earning more than I have? Why do I not get that? Why do I not have the things that I want? There's always a voice inside of you, and a lot of people get this wrong. When you're not aware, that voice will cause you to act and behave and keep you stuck. That voice inside will cause you to develop behaviors to keep you exactly where you're at, whether you're aware of it or not. There's also a voice, a principle of guidance, telling you you know you were meant for more. It's very important to know what's happening in how we think, how we operate, and the way we move and why we move the way we move. I study science, psychology. I study the field of consciousness. I am working in the area that very few people go. but it is the only place that you could ever understand yourself and develop yourself to become the person you want to be. When you're willing to comprehend, when you're willing to take responsibility, you can have anything you want. Literally. Anything. Because the truth is that anything is possible. And if you're not acting like that, you're letting the inside control the outside. Inside hidden beliefs. And if you got an inner voice inside of you that doesn't believe you're good enough, you're going to go in the wrong direction. There are hidden beliefs that have hidden agendas that are causing you to act and behave as you don't want to, causing you to think, even think in the wrong direction. I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this. You guys take notes, and we're going to come back to the lesson.
That we sent you here a while ago. One is called Lesson 1, the mind, how it works. And number 2 is Order of Visualization, how to work with it. And that, of course, comes from Genevieve Behrend's book, Your Invisible Power. Now, they're just 2 reference sheets that we brought in here. Then we have the spirit of opulence. We have entering into the spirit of it and touching lightly. Now, I am a very creative individual, but so are you. Now, for a long time, I didn't know that. And so naturally, I didn't use my creative abilities, my creative faculties. But when I started to, things really started to rock. And I'm very, very productive human being. And I'm forever starting new things. I'm starting new things because I want to bring more of this information to the world. And I'm going to be bringing something, I haven't got it tightened up yet, but you'll be hearing about it within the week. And it's going to be, I think, very special. It's a brand new idea, and I haven't got the idea fully formed in my mind yet, but you'll be hearing more about it. And it's something that I got quite excited about the minute I thought of it. I was thinking, I was on a plane, but I got on the plane, when I got on the plane, I wanted to accomplish something that I'd been talking to Sandy Gallagher about, and I couldn't really come up with an idea that would help me do it. And then all of a sudden, I thought of it. And you're going to hear more about it. It's a brand new idea. And the idea is, I think have you got the logo there, Scott?
Nobody.
People become aware that they came here just a while ago, within the past week, from a lady who's a very effective human being. I mean, she's a very accomplished woman. She's out in the marketplace teaching, and she earns a lot of money and everything. She wanted to get a particular house, but she thought she couldn't. Man, I just took her to task real fast, and she's in the house now. And she was sending me a letter thanking me about it. And I'm not going to tell you who she is. That's not important. But the important thing is that she did it. And made all the difference in the world, just a few ideas that I shared with her. Well, I think there's a lot of people out there. And now, these are not people that are down and out or trying to find work. It could be those people too. But this is anyone that really wants to improve the quality of their life. You see, that is our purpose in life. It's our real purpose. Our purpose is to execute God's purpose, and God's purpose is greater good. And that is why our spiritual DNA is always going to have us dissatisfied. We always want to do better. If we win, we want to win bigger. If we run, we want to run faster. If we sell, we want to sell more. And Rosh and I are forever talking about that in our company. So we get into these lessons, and I think what it does, it brings order to what we're talking about. Now, this isn't what I go into here is not something that we go into in the seminar. We do, but we do it in a much more orderly way and tight patches, and maybe not as deep as we go here. But what we're going to do here in the inner circle, I think, is really expand everybody's mind. And it's got to be directed towards what you want. Like, what do you really want? That is something we've got to look at. Now we say, have you found that yet, Scott?
Yep, I'll just put it on the screen now for everyone to
Okay,
see.
throw it on the screen. There you go. That's what it is. Studio 333, PGI Studio 333. This is something's going to be broadcast all over the world right from here. So if you have friends in Yokohama, in Kota Kinabalu, in Kuching, in Kuala Lumpur, or down in way down the other side in Buenos Aires or in Kuching, I don't care where it is. We're going to be there. New York, Philadelphia, Toronto, Los Angeles, Halifax, Las Vegas. Studio 333 is going to be there. Now, the Studio 333 is based on the idea of 333 in the Born Rich book. If you haven't read it, I really recommend you get it. Do you have the idea all written out, Lisa?
Let me jump a little bit. Get to where
It's rather a shame when they go the wrong line. What are we capable of doing? Because if you can hold it in your hand, baby, I'm telling you, you can, or hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. It's just the way it works. I say that, and this is only one of our powers. It is that which, judged from the standpoint of personal self-consciousness, is above us, but which, realized from the point of view of the unity of all spirit, in part and parcel of ourselves, because it is that infinite mind which is of necessity identified with all its manifestations. So now let's think, what are we saying here? Well, we're talking about...
I want you guys to focus on keywords. Keywords that make mental movement inside you. Keywords that create more accurate thought, more accurate thinking. I was working to find keywords that cause a person to act and behave as they do, keywords that pull people from acting as they do, and when the essential and incidental come in place and don't allow you to become who you need to become. I said it earlier, I noticed there's a big difference whenever I have invested in people and I paid the money versus they're invested in themselves and they have to change. There's a big difference, it's worlds apart when somebody has to make it because it's their own company, it's their own money, versus somebody else's money, somebody else's company. Those two positions, I find them remarkable in the way the human personality organizes information. When it's your money, when it's your payroll, when it's you that's going to have to get paid or not paid, all of a sudden, you have better accurate thinking. You would say, why would that be? Because there's a hidden message when you're not fully responsible for what's coming. I took the responsibility and I did things differently. I've rarely found somebody in that manner. But when with working with people, I would find that normally a hidden agenda that they didn't feel they had to take ownership. Let's look at the responsibility part.
From the standpoint of personal self-consciousness, is above us, but which, realized from the point of view of the unity of all spirit, in part and parcel of ourselves, because it is that infinite mind which is of necessity identified.
Necessity. Necessity identified with all of its manifestations. When it's a necessity, you do what you have to do. When you burn the bridges, there's no going back. When things are born of a necessity, sink or swim. When it's yours, you pay more attention. Born of necessity. When you don't feel the heat, you don't have to change. You don't develop until you have to become. You don't take the full responsibility of accurate thinking. You put the blame on other people, other things, other situations. I want everybody to think about what I'm saying, because this is happening to you in different positions of your life. It's happening to you right now. If you're not finding the way of what it is that you need to do, it's because something is being veiled. There's a hidden belief not allowing you to see what it is that you need to see to become who you have to become. When it's born out of a necessity, all of a sudden your accurate thinking becomes to realize that hidden power, and it begins to evolve. Look to see the occult belief that have hidden agendas, hidden energy with its own agenda, holding you back. When it's born of a necessity, you do what it takes. When an vision or idea is born of necessity, you do what it takes. When a goal or a vision arises and it's born out of, it could happen, it doesn't happen for you. But when it's born out of a necessity, a need, or it's a hot burning desire, but it's your desire, things change. When it's not your desire, you go back to what you know. So look at goals properly, accurately. Is your goal born of a necessity? Is your goal solely because it could be done? I want it, but really, I'm not going to become, I'm not going to think more accurate, I'm not going to go take the actions I have to take. Is it born because it's really not your goal? Look at goals and how goals cause you to either think accurately or put the responsibility on someone else, or put responsibilities and results on somebody else's behalf. You don't take responsibility for them. Look at your goals and look at the way you're thinking towards your goal. Is that goal that you decided, is it a burning desire? Is it your burning desire? Behind all goals is a hidden message. You're either going to do what it takes, or you're going to continue to stay where you're at. I know a lot of people that will call me to check to see how I'm doing. They're checking to see if they're ready to make a change. Or they don't want to call me, they don't want to see me, they want to talk to me, but they're not ready to change themselves. What hidden belief has its hidden agenda that's causing you to stay where you're at? Not allowing you to have accurate thinking, or even to look to think accurately, to take responsibility. You must identify what's going on
With all its manifestations. So now let's think, what are we saying here? Well, we're talking about having a principle of guidance. We're talking about how everything manifests, everything you see. As I look around the studio, I see the cameras, the monitors, the teleprompters, and I see all of this, This was all just an idea in somebody's mind at one time. The furniture. I love this idea. Here we go. Passing time. All right? The sand timer. There's a beautiful idea locked into this hourglass. Well, this is the way things work. And as we start to understand this, then we'll start to understand how everything happens, because you'll see how everything manifests. Now, looking to this infinite mind as a superior intelligence from which we may receive. Now, this paragraph is vitally important. Looking at this infinite mind as a superior intelligence from which we may receive guidance does not therefore imply looking to an external source. Okay? We start talking about universal intelligence and we start thinking outside of ourselves. Don't go there. We're talking about us, it, with us. On the contrary, it is looking to the innermost spring of our own being, with a confidence in its action which enables us to proceed to the execution of our plans, with a firmness and assurance that are in themselves the very guarantee of our success. Have you ever noticed how some people operate with such a rock confidence that it's going to happen? Something stuck in my throat here. Well, you and I can operate with that confidence. I have that confidence when I think of Studio 333, and I do not have the full idea formed in my mind, but I know it's coming. I know it's already here. And I know I'm in harmony with it, so it's only a matter of time until I'm able to really lay it out there for you to see. Now, let's go back and let's look at this again. Looking to this infinite mind, and that's what we're talking about, as a superior intelligence from which we may receive guidance does not therefore imply looking to an external source. We're not looking up there, not up in the sky. On the contrary, it is looking to the innermost spring of our own being with a confidence in its action which enables us to proceed to the execution of our plans with a firmness and assurance that are in themselves the very guarantee of success. Now let's take a look here for a moment. This is so important. Let this drawing represent you. This is the stick person. There's the conscious mind, the subconscious, where the heart is. This is the heart. We're not talking about the heart of hearts or the physical pump in our mind. We're talking about the heart of hearts. The one there inside of you, that's the center of your consciousness. That's where everything starts working. And this, of course, is the body. Now, it's how this thing acts that's going to determine your results. There's a power flowing into your consciousness. And as this power flows into your consciousness, you have higher faculties. And we're going to be talking about those in a few minutes. Those higher faculties give you the ability to build an image on the screen of your mind. Now, this could be anything you want. This could be winning a competition you may be in. And you will win them if you don't think you're competing, because you're not. You're only competing with yourself. But as this power flows in, you build the image of what you want. It could be a home. It might be business. It might be raising the sales. It might be amount of money. It can be anything you want, because as this power flows in, it has no form. Get this. When it flows in, it's neither negative or positive. It just is. And you make it what it is. Then you turn that power over to the subconscious mind. Now let me tell you what you're doing when you do that. You're turning that power over to universal intelligence, because this is how it would really look. You're building the image here in your consciousness, and you're turning it over to universal intelligence. This is in everything. It isn't just in you. You are an expression of it. It's an expression of you. Now we've got to grasp this. We've got to really start to understand this. The whole universe is rushing to your aid. See, when you build an idea, you're putting your mind on a specific frequency. Everything operates on frequency. This phone's operating on a frequency. You know that. If I just hit a certain number, I can take a picture and boom, I can send it. Wouldn't matter where you are, you'll have it simultaneous with me sending it. Why? Because I would have you on the same frequency that I'm on. Everything operates on frequencies. Well, universal intelligence operates on frequencies. And universal intelligence operates perfectly by law. Now, do you know one of the first laws of the universe is? The perpetual transmutation of energy.
So here we go. We're close to our time. That energy could have been anything. So as you're going through your day, why are you making the choices that you're making? Why do you stop where you stop? Principle of guidance. What is causing you to act and behave as you do? What is it that's inside of you saying you're not good enough? There's no opportunities? What is it that's inside of you causing you to veer off and not take 100% responsibility? There's a hidden belief that has a hidden agenda. That hidden agenda is occult energy. You can't see it, but it's causing you to stop taking action. It's causing you to look at outside results. It's causing you to put things off. It's causing you to not take that accurate thinking. And it's all moving you right back to where you are today. Choosing what you want and then figuring out how you're going to get there is a completely different model. And if we were to all sit there and choose what we want and then imagine how we're going to get there, you'd start to find that you're taking control of this hidden power, and the spirit of guidance, which is universal intelligence, will begin to bring you the ideas of what it is that you need, when you need it, as you take action. Thoughts, takeaways?
It's our, let's like you say, we got to make a decision and we got to follow through. If you don't make a decision, one's going to take over, and that's your incidental. The essential is, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to move. I'm going to put a plan together. I got to, all the ideas will start coming to you, and even ideas that you didn't even think of. And I'm thinking that, no, I'm not thinking. I know that when those ideas come in, I act on those more, and they've been giving me different results because it's a different thinking. It's different from what I was thinking before. And you just got to make a decision. Do you want to keep living like this? No, let's go. Let's move. You know, do you want to keep getting the results? No, let's move. Look at yourself in the mirror. Do you want to continue experiencing life, the life that you're in now, the same way? Then no, let's move. It's all self-talk. You got to have that confidence. And sometimes you do hear the words where you're like, not good enough. There's not people. There's no work. There's
Not enough money.
not enough money.
How
Yeah.
many times have you stopped because you hear your own inner voice or you let the bank account control your behavior?
Yeah.
When
And,
if you were to
and,
sit down and think how it can be done, you start getting different ideas.
mhm. Yeah, we've made it this far with certain limitations, but it didn't stop us. we came up with different ideas and took those approaches and said, hey, well, let's ask or let's try. And I would ask and try. And sometimes I would be like, well, that went better than I thought. I wasn't putting any limitations at the time. Or and it's like, just like when I started the company, I had no money. I had a $2,000 credit card, no payroll coming in. I didn't know when I was going to get paid, but I went and I talked to a company man and said, hey, I started on my own. Will you take a chance on me? He said, yes. He said, if you burn me, I'll never do business with you ever again. But I didn't. And he continued to give me business. But he was the one that also gave me a break because I made a committed decision. And I went out there and he's like, hey, I know your work. I know your worth. Bill it so you can have money now. He goes, don't paint it. I know, just make sure it works. And we'll install it. And as long as it works, then once you can get the money to start buying the paint, then you can pay it. And that's how it went. But it was making that committed decision, taking action. And then also an idea that nobody, how many times you hear people say, oh, they're not going to give me the work with no money or stuff like that. So if we jumped on it and it took off and it led me to where I'm at today, but there's still other decisions that I got to make to adjust the things that are still in it that I'm learning.
It's a process.
I'm learning. And a lot of the stuff was incidental thinking, not essential thinking. But now that I know the difference, it's like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. And then the incidental wants to take over, and we're like, nope, we got things to do. That's where you do the intervention, your protocols, your breathing techniques, your grounding techniques, and put in a positive so your body can feel at ease and say, okay, we got this.
Very good. Thank you, guys. We're out of time.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
You as well. You as well.